For 10 years, I've been struggling to make films. I've tried to make stuff I believe in, but I'm always let down. Instead, I've decided to document my life and struggle to create. It's interesting because cinematography is such a subjective thing. Like, what I think about it is something totally different than what you will think about it. Some people love to show everything, and to me that's the most boring shit you can ever see. So pay attention, but take it with a grain of salt, maybe. So where do you start? Like, what's good cinematography? To me, it's something that strengthens the story. Something that tells a story in images without saying it in words. You shouldn't need dialogue with great cinematography. And it should create a mood and a feeling, and it should create a presence for you as an audience to be in the pictures and scene with the people that you're watching. Like, it should become more real with the cinematography. At least that's what I think. And I read here that, who was it? Somebody said, so Vilmos Zsigmond, fantastic cinematographer. He made The Deer Hunter and other stuff. But so he says, I really think the lighting is the most important element in the movies. Without good lighting, I don't think there's a good cinematography. I think that's true. When you work with docs, it's kind of hard. Like, that's one of the biggest things that I focus on in my films is like to capture the right light. I come from a documentary background, like documentary still photos. So then you get used to pretty much shoot everything in, existent lighting that is there. And that kind of makes you adapt to that. So you shoot when the right light is there. I usually go out in the blue hour or like when the sun is setting, those types of things. I try to shoot whenever I see pretty light. I try to shoot. Now I'm in the studio, so now I can light stuff, but otherwise, I try to just shoot as soon as I see a good light. I shoot it. And I think you can learn a lot from just watching light. Anybody that aspires to be a cinematographer needs to start to focus on light. Like, light is cinematography. You have to focus on, just like you get unique characters and all that, you need to have unique lighting. It doesn't mean that it's pretty lighting. It means that it has to be something unique that creates a unique atmosphere that's true to the story. It could be anything. It could be, anything that's only lit with one light. It could be 3 lights. I don't know, anything. But sky is the limit, I guess.
We come a long way, but a long way to go. Yes, we come a long way, but a long way to go. Still have no fussing and fighting. The cheating on back.
So another thing that I think is great cinematography is, leaving the right stuff out and keeping the right stuff in. For instance, deciding on a perspective is one of the most important things to me. When I shot a scene in the Pearl of Africa, which was on the top of a mountain, walking up with Cleo and Nelson, I thought about trying to capture the whole environment and trying to create a mood through the imagery. And then as we got up on the top of the mountain, then we're moving closer and closer to capture the intimacy of them being on top of the mountain. That's a deliberate choice, and you have to make that as it happens. That's why I love documentary cinematography, because you really have to, be quick to capture those things. A different scene in the Pearl of Africa that's a good example of perspective is in the hospital. Like, as soon as I was in the hospital with Cleo and Nelson, it became really obvious to me that the most important thing here was to focus on how Nelson experiences this situation. Because being there, standing next to Cleo and Nelson as they were going through a serious operation was such a profound experience that you get affected as a cinematographer. And when you're doing documentary, everything is real. Like, you're experiencing this whole film in reality. It's a real thing for you. And to me, that's what you need to capture. Great cinematography captures whatever you feel on set. But that scene in the hospital, I decided pretty early on that, okay, this has to be his perspective. We have to go more intimate. Everything has to be telephoto. So everything was close-ups, close-ups, close-ups. Nothing was wide shots in the whole scene because I wanted to feel more claustrophobic. So as you're watching it, you're feeling this, claustrophobic feel that I had on the spot, but that they had obviously too. It's such an intimate and fragile moment that I think great cinematography can really aid to capture that. And when you're doing comedy, you're trying to do something totally different. Like I love how, for instance, Louis C.K.'s cinematography is in his series that he did. I think that's so natural that it creates a sadness to the pictures. But then you have other funny type of comedy where you use, composition and colors and all that sort of thing to kind of aid the story and to create a mood and that sort of thing. So my favorite cinematographer, Christopher Doyle. If there is one person that I would watch every film that he does, it's Christopher Doyle. He has such a unique way of capturing things. And he didn't study cinematography. Who fucking studies cinematography? Anyways.
Sweet reggae music in your bones. Sing it out. Oh, yeah. Reggae music around the place. You gotta sing it up. Sing it up.
Rodrigo, I love you. I don't think good photography is always beautiful photography. I think it's not about that. Images should just be what moves you and what supports the story. So fucking true. Like, if somebody should be a person to listen to, Rodrigo has done Amoros Perros, 21 grams, Babel, Beautiful, 8 Mile, Brokeback Mountain. Fuck, he's done so much shit. Okay, so Ed Lockman says, images shouldn't be the only pleasing pictorial aesthetic, but a projection of the emotions that the characters discover in themselves. For sure. Like, people who just make pretty pictures, go fuck yourself. It doesn't matter. Like, you making a pretty picture, like there's so many vlogs out there that do like a collage of nice pictures and like, oh, moody music, oh yeah. It's the same shit in every video. Please invent yourself. Cinematography is really technical and of course, like, images should be pretty, I think, in some sense. Like, it can be an ugly pretty and it can be a dark pretty, but don't just make stuff because it looks good. Like, try to think about the story. Everything about cinematography to me has to do with story. You cannot make great cinematography if you don't tell a story. To me, you tell a story by not telling everything. You tell a story by not saying things in words. You use the cinematic language, and that isn't just cinematography, it's also the audiovisual aspects of everything. So audio, picture, acting, all those things has to come together. The music. You have to use all those things because that is the language. The language isn't cinematography. The language isn't the spoken word dialogue. Like, you have to use everything to tell the story. So if you stop thinking about cinematography and start thinking about story, then I think pictures will come for themselves. Okay, so that's gonna be it for now. Cinematography, what do you think? What's great cinematography? What sucks? Let me know, comment, subscribe, See you next week.
It's the way
Check out this guide to cinematography that I put together.
just as you're falling asleep, like it's already a dream.